I'm Ili Nadira, strategist from IDG. Welcome to this brand voice, the roadblocks to a modern IT infrastructure and how to overcome them, held in collaboration with Accenture and IDC. In this part two, we regroup with our esteemed speakers to discuss the need for an infrastructure evolution and its challenges, as well as the key considerations for successful transformation. Welcome again, Duncan Eady, Managing Director, Cloud Infrastructure and Engineering, APAC at Accenture, and Linus Lai, Chief Analyst, ANZ at IDC. What do you think are the key roadblocks hindering APAC organizations from transforming their IT?
Hey, I'll start by saying that, a lot of the roadblocks are related to skills in the transition, right, to modern digital infrastructure. So building an agile development platform using containers for modern workloads, those were cited as a very important challenge that organizations are facing today. Modernizing legacy business critical applications was cited as number two. Transforming IT ops using AI ops for greater agility and resource optimization, supporting rapid growth in edge locations and applications. We've also got aging computers, storage, and network building blocks that are just not enabled for software-defined infrastructure as well, right? And we need to understand how to transition those as well. And last but not least, implementing hybrid cloud management platforms for seamless, consistency of governance and policy control across, your entire cloud estate as well.
Yeah, that makes sense, Linus. Agreed. And Ellie, as I alluded to in the first part of this series, the cost of complexity can be a roadblock, making transformation expensive. And especially in APAC, many enterprises still have long-term investments in traditional data centers, hardware and software licenses. They have mainframe applications and really a mounting technology debt from delayed modernization. And whilst these are common barriers, the cost in lost business opportunities these days from not transforming would actually typically outweigh the investment in a modern, flexible infrastructure with lower ongoing operational costs. And so now we're seeing talent increasingly becoming a key roadblock. Digital talent is scarce, especially here in APAC, with demand far exceeding supply. The infrastructure workforce that was originally hired for their expertise in traditional data centers, mainframes, in legacy networks and service desk operations, this needs to reskill on the cloud for artificial intelligence, for automation, for site reliability engineering and edge computing, to name a few new skills. So organizations need to invest in new talent and support reskilling to stay ahead of the mounting digital skills needed to deliver and operate a modern infrastructure organization. And finally, resources experienced in successfully delivering the daunting change program to overcome these complex legacy environments are also very valuable for de-risking and providing confidence to the business. And that's where a seasoned partner like Accenture can have an important role to play, partnering with customers through the evolution of their technical environments, their IT business processes, and even the reskilling of their workforce.
Thanks, both. So for this next question, to help our viewers take that first step towards change, what are the key considerations that they should keep in mind when it comes to modernizing infrastructure from both a technological and talent standpoint?
I'll say that, when we look at the future of digital infrastructure, it boils down to three very simple principles. The first is we've got to build it on cloud native technology. This is proven to be highly scalable, all right, and it could be implemented whether in the public cloud or deployed as a dedicated compute storage or network resources in your own data center, edge, or co-located sites. The second pillar for transformation is to ensure that we have ubiquitous deployment as well. So using outcome-driven infrastructure governance or workload portability enabled by consumption-based infrastructure or subscription services, can actually provide a shared operations model for compute data and networks, and enable the organization to deploy these resources no matter where they are physically. And last but not least, perhaps the most important pillar for transformation is the ability to drive towards autonomous operations, because we know skills is a problem. We know that, yes, of course, we'll need dedicated skills on very specific clouds or very specific types of infrastructure, but the faster we can get towards what I call a cross-cloud control plane that enables better policy and governance for risk and assurance and security outcomes, I think it's going to be better for everyone, because that's going to be how we're going to drive a lot more AI ops and automation.
Absolutely. And Ilya, I think Linus has actually just very succinctly described the 3 key pillars that are underpinning what I believe the real vision for a future-looking IT department needs to be, which is to become a provider of business services end-to-end, not just a provider of technology components. And that requires full-stack engineering. And so how does an organization get to that end-to-end business service full-stack model? Well, it really depends on the starting point, which is different for every company. And the challenges that they have to navigate will also therefore be different. For some, it might be people and asset issues. For others, software licensing. For others, still, deep CapEx investments in mainframe or in data center. Each organization needs to define what its own barriers are and then chart its own path to innovation and value, building on the pillars that Linus has described. And within Accenture, we use a stabilize, optimize, transform approach to systematically break down these barriers. So what do I mean by that? A stabilized environment is one that operates without continuous fire drills to critical systems. It's introducing automation to increase quality, reduce costs, and build the foundation for a multi-speed operating model, which is capable of supporting a hybrid landscape. An optimized environment is about getting the maximum horsepower out of the IT estate and the people in order to support the business. How do we do that? Well, optimization frees up funding. It then frees up people's time and creates a clear path to full stack innovation. And you can begin by continuous re-engineering of the infrastructure landscape to align with strategic business goals. And then the transformed environment really kicks in when the business is ready to focus on tomorrow. You take the stabilized and optimized environment, which is your foundation, and then the next step expands the footprint into the cloud continuum, seamlessly leveraging more advanced technologies and capabilities to exploit a wider variety of opportunities, thereby helping enable greater innovation. And the great thing about this journey is that the timing of each step is actually flexible and it can be non-linear. So for example, a business could realize the benefits of stability and optimization today, and then kickstart a transformation at a future time of its choosing. Or a business could build a completely new innovation environment that goes live quickly, and then migrate a stabilized and optimized legacy into this model over time. So there's a lot of flexibility, and the journey path depends on key business requirements, priorities, and the value that our clients are looking to achieve.
Thanks, Wolf. These are really great starting points. I'm pretty sure organizations will find them useful to get their first steps towards transformation. And with that, we have come to the end of this webinar. Thank you again for your time, Duncan and Linus. We really appreciate your insights.
Thanks, Eli. Thanks, Duncan.
Thanks,
Thank
Linus.
you.
Cheers.
And thank you to our viewers for joining us in this conversation on the roadblocks to modern IT infrastructure and how to overcome them, brought to you by Accenture and IDC.